everyone, my name is Aplak Ghosh. Welcome back to another episode of Tech This Week. Today, I am going to talk about an organization that's taken everybody's attention. Why not? Because it suddenly became one of the top three companies in the world in terms of market cap. I'm talking about none other than NVIDIA. If you've been covering the tech industry, NVIDIA reached a staggering $1.8 trillion in market cap, and beating the likes of Amazon and Alphabet. But I think it's a huge feat for a company which till a few years back probably nobody even thought could take on giants like Amazon and Alphabet in terms of market cap. I'm sure all of you would remember NVIDIA for that company when we had those PCs. We used to have the Intel's logo saying Intel inside, and those avid gamers, who wanted to dedicate graphic cards. Remember, those graphic cards were made by none other than NVIDIA. But how come from this company which used to make these graphic cards for gamers, it suddenly become the talk of the town? Let's understand the story. I feel it's a very interesting story. So, how did NVIDIA, like I said, become the linchpin of AI revolution? So I think you need to start from the basics. So back in 1993, this company was started by three founders, Jensen Huang, Prim Malchowski, and Curtis Prim. Of the three, Jensen Huang is the more popular, and he is the current chairman of the organization, right? And the world sees him as a visionary. So back in 1993, these three gentlemen started this organization, and the idea was to set up a semiconductor firm which was designing graphic accelerator cards for PCs. And these graphic accelerator chips, which were designed for PCs, was used in video gaming, because they understood that while you're playing a video game, there's intense demand for PC CPUs. So they realized, the calculations which could be performed more rapidly in parallel by a dedicated chip rather than in series by the CPU, right? Which led to the foundation of a product which became very popular, called the NVIDIA GeForce graphic cards, which is now popularly called as NVIDIA GPUs. So for many years, NVIDIA drove its graphics business, and in fact, it still remains the biggest vendor as far as discrete graphic cards goes. But again wonder, how does that evolve into what it has become today, a behemoth? Because what they understood was, with time, the company understood that the role is not just in terms of graphic designing or gaming. They understood how software development was taking place. Software developers could take advantage of these graphic cards for non-graphical applications, specifically for computing requirements. So this is when, back in 2006, NVIDIA introduced a new GPU architecture, very important, called as CUDA. It is Compute Unified Device Architecture, which would accelerate processing speeds. So if you think of it, NVIDIA, yes, is a chip manufacturer, but it works somewhat akin to an Apple. Apple also is a company which makes hardware, but the hardware is so successful, which is so tightly integrated to its software, right? Then comes the growing importance of AI. So because of the entire architecture of what NVIDIA designed, what we call as CUDA, right? So artificial intelligence needs a lot of compute capacity, as we all know, right? So AI needs to perform trillions of repetitive calculations to train machine learning, as we all know, which was made possible by something called as parallel computing. So NVIDIA understood, transitioning from a chip manufacturer to become a key market player in the AI ecosystem, this is the time for them to act on it. So as a clear understanding of the space, as far as AI or Gen AI, which is a more evolved scale of artificial intelligence, NVIDIA's taken the center stage with its GPUs, which is powered by CUDA, and it became the backbone of this entire Gen AI revolution, right? So almost overnight, NVIDIA's positioning from being a GPU-centric organization to being the epicenter of the entire Gen AI boom kind of took place over the last few years. So Gen AI largely, relies on parallel computing, which in other words, one may also call it as the language of AI, which not only has NVIDIA worked on, but pretty much mastered around the space. So to conclude, would it be right for us to say that, obviously NVIDIA has a very, very important role to play as far as AI or Gen AI as an area goes, and which is why obviously that compels their position at the number 3 spot in terms of market cap. But I guess the story does not end itself in being just a premier hardware or the GPU provider. Let's understand that NVIDIA's role is not confined to hardware, but trying to create an entire ecosystem for AI or Gen AI at large. So like, OpenAI has GPT as its foundation model. NVIDIA also has its own foundation model called NVIDIA Nemotron, which is a foundation model on which many enterprises are currently doing their POCs on, right? So NVIDIA clearly is trying to focus on its end-to-end solutions for Gen AI rather than just catering to being a hardware provider. So the only thing I would probably like to leave on a note for you to ponder is, while companies like OpenAI and Google and so on and so forth need NVIDIA's chips or its GPUs to drive its innovation around Gen AI, but does the same also can be said about NVIDIA? Perhaps not, because NVIDIA, if you think of it, is a cozy position where not only do they own the GPUs, but they're also creating the foundation models on their own. So yes, this in the world of tech, we know companies would compete against each other. They also cooperate, which is about competition, right? So I guess it all leaves us to think how important NVIDIA is going to become in the years to come. Clearly a company to look out for in the next foreseeable future. That's it from my end. Bye for now.